Hey everybody, welcome back. This is episode 5 of With Or with Teddy and Fitz, and we have a very, very special guest here today. His name is Dave Weiss. He has I've been following him since at least 2018 or so. What really impressed me about Dave is he left a really good job to go out and share this incredible knowledge he has that he's been putting out for a long time. And welcome to the show, Dave. And Teddy, this is Dave.
Good to meet you, Dave.
Good to meet you. Thanks for acknowledging that. And yeah, I did walk away from everything I worked my entire life for to do this. And I guess the reason I did it is, what am I going to do? Sit on my hands? Like, I don't think it's possible for a normal functioning person to see what's going on in the world to the point that we see and not do anything about it. I don't think it's possible. Right? I mean, if it is possible, you're living a horrible life, a fake life.
And that's kind of why how Teddy and I got involved in what we do. So we do music and art, and we put them together, and we share truth and comedy and a lot of other things. But
follow your passion.
Putting it out there.
Follow your passion.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yep. So we've been doing it for few months now. This is our 5th episode on the PHP network. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Patriots Helping Patriots. You were on 5D Grammar Show.
Yep.
Who's involved with us too. And that's actually how we hooked up. I mean, we were emailing since then, and we finally got together. But I only have 3 questions, but Teddy's going to have a lot of questions for you.
Right.
But the main thing I just wanted you to do it because the way I got into everything you do is watching you explain it to as if we're all children and from the beginning, and even just starting with the one pond, not even going into all the ponds that could possibly be there, and your app. And I think if we started off there, and then we could let Teddy just get a look at a circumnavigation, mostly because his father was a fighter pilot. So Teddy, you want to add anything to that? But that's the way I want to start going.
Go ahead.
Well, hey, we also, we watched the videos. I tried to watch some, and everybody was rude to you, I thought, and interrupted you. So I want to hear your story. We just want to shut up and let you talk. Does that sound good to you?
Sounds like you Googled my name or Flat Earth, and Google served you the Professor Dave interview. Because that's the only thing you'll find. Like, if you search, I don't know if you watched Jaranism or Globebusters, but Jaron discovered that in your YouTube history, you can watch like a ton of videos. Go to my channel, watch a bunch of videos that all say Flat Earth in them. Then go to your YouTube history and search your history for Flat Earth, and none of the videos that are pro Flat Earth will show up in your history that you watched. Only the anti-Flat Earth videos that Google pushes will show up in your history. There's no other topic, 9/11, COVID, anything, nothing. You can watch those videos and then search them, and they're in your history. But if you, all of the good, so that's a way to actually litmus test. Hey, is this a good video? Let me watch it, and then let me search my history. And if it's not there, it must be good.
He's telling you something they don't want you to know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But where did you get started on? How did it all get started? Explain it to us. And like he said, like we're kids. That's how we got together. We did a video about 9/11 with a 2nd grade choirs.
It's the same for me as everybody is. When I heard about Flat Earth, laughed at it, ridiculed the people that mentioned it, banned them from my social media. And then I was forced to look. And only when you go in to look, and even with a bad attitude, I'm going to debunk Flat Earth and prove the globe. That's the fastest way to become a Flat Earther, right? Because once, the people that believe in the globe don't know their own model, right? And they also don't know the Flat Earth model. They think this is Flat Earth, okay? This isn't Flat Earth. This is ridiculous. And the people that laugh at Flat Earth, they think that we think, we're the only flat planet and all the other planets are round, right? No Flat Earther thinks that. It's just globe believers believe that Flat Earth believers believe this. This is a false Flat Earth model and a false heliocentric model mixed together. So it's a double false. I mean, it's so, you know, the anti-flat earthers out there, they will saying it's called you gotta lie to flurf. Flurf is like a derogatory term for like a flat earther, you know, and they're just talking about themselves. They constantly have to lie about what we do, what we say, and lie about their stupid heliocentric model, right? So, you know, they tell us that Antarctica is this continent at the bottom of a ball. I don't know how advanced is your audience on this.
Well, a lot of people would. Well, I think it's half and half maybe because I know a lot of people that are interested in everything and everything you put out there, but then there's other ones that are saying, "Oh, this should be interesting because we."
Yeah, so I mean, basically the basics are large bodies of water at rest need containment, right? Try to take a bath without a bathtub. Try to swim in a pool without the sides of the pool. Try to swim in a lake without land that's higher than the water. Okay, that going all the way around. So this is the land that goes all the way around all of the water. Okay, it's called Antarctica. It's the highest land on Earth. It contains our world, right? What's out there? We don't know. We want to know. No one's allowed to independently explore beyond 60 degrees south. You can take a very expensive trip from Santiago out to this little peninsula, which is bigger than many countries. And they'll take you to Deception Island or Rothschild Island, and they'll show you some ice and some penguins, and then they kick you out. That's it. Now, yeah, you can go work in Antarctica. There are people that work there that have been there for a long time. We had a plumber that worked there for over a year, and before he was a flat earther, and he said it was, you know, that what did he say? He said, we asked him if he ever saw the 24-hour sun, and he said it was light. There was twilight at midnight in their summer. Yeah. And but it never, you couldn't see the sun, right? And that's my saying that when I talk about daylight and sunlight, daylight is different than sunlight. And to prove it, you know, especially on a ball, but it's the same on a flat earth, before the sun rises, is it daylight? If you go on the west side of your house 20 minutes before the sun rises, can you read the newspaper? Not that you ever should, because there's daylight already. The sun is close enough. It's exciting the gases or the firmament and creating that blue sky. And that's your daylight. Sunlight is direct from the sun. Now, does the sun cause the daylight? Excuse me. Yes, I think it definitely does, right? So the sun will light up the sky, but you don't see the sun all of the time. When the sun is going away or approaching at far distances, you'll see the daylight before the sunlight. Make sense?
Yeah, and that's what I love about your app, because you can track the sun and the moon all the time. And you can even see when one's passing the other. Right. And when I go outside, I look at that, and you can't see it up until a certain point, the moon anymore.
You know, I'll tell you, here's an interesting point that I went to Europe years ago on my honeymoon, and when you're in Europe, it gets dark much later. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, when it's 9 o'clock in America, it's dark. Over in Europe, it didn't get dark. Over like in Holland and stuff, it didn't get dark till 10:30 or 11 o'clock. Well, maybe so that was kind of weird.
Maybe that has some, if it's at the same latitude, maybe they're not on daylight savings time. You know, that they screw us up with that. That hour messes with our body clock. But you know, Europe is over here. We're over here, right? That if I turn on the time zones, and the time zones spin, you know, wherever the sun is, it's noon. You know, people would about time zones. How does that time zones work on a flat earth? How the hell do time zones work on a globe earth, right? Time zones on the globe earth are ridiculous. And, you know, there's more time zones in the south than there are in the north, which shouldn't be the case.
How could that be?
Well, the way they cut them up, they're like, well, they do it for reasons. Yeah, you have to check out. There's actually going to be a time zone button section on the app soon, but Flat Earth Banjo has some great videos on it. But we're talking about what we're talking about. I was going somewhere with this.
Time zones.
Yeah. So the time zone. So I don't know about the farther north you are, in the summer, you'll have longer light in June.
Right.
Because the sun is going around this inner circle here, and it stays closer to you. So people up in Norway and Alaska, the sun never gets far enough away from them to set. It's not going over curve, it's just setting in the distance. Okay. Sunsets are a big one. Let's do sunsets for a second. Okay. Because people say, well, how does the sun set below the horizon, right? That's the one that's got them, right? If we lived on a ball and we're spinning on a ball, the sun would appear to set below a physical horizon. I'll give them that. Yes, it would. And we appear to see sunsets below an eye level horizon, but that horizon is always flat, by the way. But we do see that. So, and people say, well, you can't see the curve because we're just an amoeba on a basketball and it's so big you can't fathom what it is. An amoeba on a basketball wouldn't know the basketball was round. Okay. We've all been programmed to say that, but people don't understand how perspective works and how our eyes work. Right. So take a look here. I've got this grid. This is a perspective grid. And so the viewer here, his eye level is at this line right here. And the ground ramps up, the sky ramps down, and things, if you had a pole here and a pole here, those poles would get closer and closer as they move down. They would get to the point where they come together. And so we throw a mountain in front of this guy. And this mountain is thousands of feet above his eye level. And you got the sun up here. Now the sun starts moving away. It's not going down. It's just going away. Just like streetlights aren't going down. Each one is just going farther and farther away. And we know logically that sun is not below the horizon. It's just beyond the mountain. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just beyond the mountain. How could this guy see that sun again? What would he need to do? If he went up high, so straight up there, imagine he could fly straight up. You got a drone, lifts him right up, boom, he can see the sun again. Okay? It's not because he's seeing over a ball, he's just seeing beyond the mountain. Now, if we move this mountain into the distance, keeping it at the same height, it would literally do this. It's still above his head, right? And it goes all the way there. We'll fill in the sides because now you can see a wider span, right? And fill in the foreground. This mountain horizon, horizontal eye zone, is thousands of feet above his eyes in reality. Okay? If you were standing on top of that mountain and you could look to this guy and could pull a string from your eyes to him, you would have a string that's sloping down like that. But if he looked at that string, he would see a string going parallel with the ground. He would see it parallel with the ground, when in reality, it's coming from the top of a mountain down to his eye. But he would see it parallel with the ground because this is how we see. This isn't a theory. Okay? So the sun starts following its path. It's just following its path. It looks like it's going down, but it's just going beyond the mountain. It's beyond the mountain. It's not below, it's beyond. If you are standing, the mountain's next to you, let's just say a building, 10-story building, you're standing right next to it and the sun's directly above you, and the sun starts moving across the street and goes beyond the building, you can't see the sun anymore. It's behind the building. It's not below the building, it's beyond the building. Push that building 10, 20 miles away. The top of that building is now at your eye level, just like these mountains are. The sun has gone beyond it and you can't see it. Now let's make it even more, add in another layer. We have the atmospheric layer. Okay. And even if there wasn't clouds, that atmosphere crunches into the vanishing point and becomes opaque, even without clouds. So we take the sun again and we just move it. Remember, the sun is above these clouds. These clouds are thousands of feet above the top of this mountain, which is thousands of feet above his eye level. But we see it at his eye level. We see these clouds at his eye level because we are looking from his point of view. The sun goes away, and now it's above two things and beyond two things. It's going beyond that cloud deck, that atmospheric deck, and that mountain horizon. All of them appear to be at eye level, and the sun just goes away. Okay. And then it takes its light with it. Light doesn't travel forever. Is that clear?
That's clear for me.
Well, yeah. I mean, I understand what you're saying there. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Keep going.
It's the same thing here. We got just another example. Guy standing there. Mountains are way above his eye line, right? And we move the mountains into the distance, and now we can see all those clouds, right? Spread them out, fill in the foreground. Those mountains are thousands of feet above his head. Those clouds are thousands of feet above the mountain, right? And we have the sun. The sun just goes away, goes away, goes away, goes away, goes away, and it disappears. And it looks to you like it's setting from the bottom up, right? It looks like it's going below this, and you've been indoctrinated to believe that's the edge of a sphere flying through infinite space. Okay? This is the number one reason why people think we live on a globe. I just perfectly showed you how it works on a flat Earth. Most people don't want to think that deeply, right? What in school did they teach you to think like this? They don't teach you to think like this. Art class used to, but they pretty much wiped that out of most schools. Okay?
Yeah, I remember your interview with the 100-year-old woman who actually, Ruth, she remembered them teaching her the truth in school.
Yep. They taught her that the earth was flat, and then years later they changed it, and she's like, well, who am I to question them? They're the teachers, you know? Mm-hmm. They're the teachers.
How far across is it?
How far across is the earth?
Yeah.
Good question, man. They say that the radius of the earth is about 4,000 miles. And I think they backwards engineer that out of the earth. I think that the equator is between 21 and 24,000 miles. I don't know. And there's no way that you can figure it out because you can't measure an area like that when you're over water. There's nothing to measure it to, right?
So
so the equator is right where the sun is almost over the equator right now. And so that's 24,000, 20 to 21 to 24,000 miles. So the outside, the circumference of the shoreline is, I think, between 65 and 75,000 miles.
Around the outside edge.
Around the outside, yeah. The shoreline of the world. Now, is this a solid shoreline? I don't know, man. I think that there might be, excuse me. I think that there might be other lands like this. I think that maybe, when they take us to, I'll make this a little bigger, to Antarctica, maybe they just take us from here and they land us here. And they go, you're in Antarctica. Now, you're not going to see around here, around there. That's like landing in Texas and expecting to see Long Island and Newfoundland, okay, and California, okay? No, look how big this is compared to all of Canada, all of the United States, all of Mexico. It's twice that size, okay? So if they landed you here and they have a base there and says you're on Antarctica, how would you ever know? You're not allowed to explore out here. You're not allowed to explore this way or that way. You're on this continent and you think you're on the bottom of the earth, when in fact that there is more land. There's more land out there. You guys have seen my stuff on Kiribati, right?
Yeah, I did. I don't know if Teddy, I don't know if you've seen that, but I am interested in that because I haven't gone deep into that. So
what's
Kiribati? You want to?
Well, I'll show you in a second. But this is Where is it? Ships? No, not there. So
have you ever heard of Perry Reese map? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. I figured you had that. Supposedly it's Antarctica without ice.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes perfect sense to me. So here's the shoreline of Antarctica. Here's South America. Everything's up here. It's just off the screen a little bit. And these are ships. You can track ships. There's tons of sites that you can go and click on a ship, get all the information. We found a ship 730 miles from the closest reported water inlet, okay, which is right here, 730 miles. And that ship, according to Google Earth, would have to be 1.9 miles above sea level. Antarctica is the highest land on Earth, okay? So are they lying? Like, well, what is going on there? So how did that happen? Then we found another ship. This is zoomed out. This one is 905 miles. Okay. That's 2.37 miles above, and it's almost in the center of Antarctica. How do you get a ship in the center of Antarctica? Okay. And we clicked on one of those ships, and very little information. Normally there's tons of information: origin, destination, cargo, captain's name, where is it registered, everything. And the only thing it said is it was 800 and some odd meters long, which is a massive ship, and 80 meters wide. And it was registered to the nation of Kiribati. Okay. So I don't want to get into that whole thing, but let's do it. So where's Kiribati? Go out on the Google Earth, and I got a pin on it. It's a tiny little sandbar. Okay. Tiny little sandbar. Most of it's unpopulated. And China gave them $10 billion recently. America gave them billions recently. I don't know the exact number, but what's going on out here? All right. What is, why are we giving this little sandbar all that money? Right. Another thing on Kiribati, there's the Captain Cook bed and breakfast hotel. Captain Cook, the guy that tried to circle Antarctica, went 68,000 miles, took him 3 years. Right. Maybe that's just somebody that loves Captain Cook. All right. But we recently looked, a channel called My Lunch Break. He looked at the boats that were out on Kiribati waiting for, they have a massive dock there, massive, for these giant ships. And on all of them, they had one thing in common. They either had unknown destination or Christmas Island as their destination. Christmas Island, right? You know, all the problems with Christmas and that. What is going on here? What are they shipping? Where are they going? Right? So lots of strangeness going on there. And I personally just think, again, we want the right to explore, that they're just sailing beyond what we're told is the ice wall and reaching these other continents. What difference does flat Earth make? Well, we're told there's 8 continents in here. Is it 8? I think it's 8. What about the other 50 out here? Okay. What if there was 50 other continents that with other civilizations on them, not rolling under tyranny? Okay. That would cause a problem. That would cause a big problem. So what difference does it make? Yeah. The difference that makes is, and this, for those people that are biblical, this could be the earth right here. Here could be the 4 corners of the earth, right? The dome could be over the whole thing, and they've just imprisoned us here. They're not letting us go beyond that.
Wow.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. That's like the movie The Village.
Yeah, exactly. That it's just like The Village. But here's the thing. We don't need to go beyond the shoreline of Antarctica to prove the earth is flat. We can prove that right here. You don't even have to probably leave your yard. You can prove it easily every day. All right. But it is interesting with all the stories, like the Iron Republic and the I love that Nos Confundum map. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. I want the right to go explore. I want airships back. We used to have massive airships the size of aircraft carriers. And they took that away because with an airship, one especially that was able to pull energy out of the ether, would never have to land. Do you know a lot of people believe that the airships and many of the things in the history in the past were powered by radium, not plutonium, but radium, right? I think that's why they check your house for radon, because if you have radon, they want to make sure that you don't get a hold of any radium, because radium's like free energy, right? And if you have a radium engine, guess what the output is? The exhaust, helium. Perfect. If you got an airship and you're using radium and it's outputting helium, so you can reuse the helium, go up and down, stay aloft for years.
But where really is the Earth? Where is it?
I think it's at the center of creation. I think we are for lack of a better words, we're the basement of the universe. And we're, what's below the earth? Nobody knows. Ball or flat? Nobody knows. Where does it end? Nobody knows. We're not allowed to go. Maybe it is, the God's giant fishbowl, right? Maybe. I don't know. All right. I just know that we're being, I personally think that there's other layers, heavenly layers above us and denser layers below us, other civilizations. Okay. How far out it goes, I don't know, but it is quite amazing. Right. And we're in this Earth school. I call it Earth school. And we're here as pieces of the creator, experience this world, trying to gain knowledge and share it with others. I think that's our highest and best purpose, is to gain maximum intellect and share it with others.
So what about the stuff that kind of goes on around us? Do you know what the meteor crater in Arizona is?
Yeah, it's a bubble, right? You have to look up methane bubbles. Here we go. If you go on the app, if you go to, I should add some images there, the frequently asked questions page, and then you go to meteors and asteroids right there on the bottom, close to the bottom. And then there is a ton of videos about geysers and methane bubbles and stuff. Meteors make no sense. Meteors were coming in. They'd be coming in at all different angles. They'd be screeches. They're all perfectly round, and they look exactly like geysers. And look up in Russia. Look up methane craters. They look exactly.
Right, I've seen that.
Yeah,
I've seen them. But have you ever watched a meteor shower?
Yeah. Now,
I laid on my roof in California one night, and we counted like 140 of them in an hour. It was me and this.
So, do you know what the story of why we have meteor showers? What's causing the meteor shower, according to mainstream science?
I have no idea. Stuff flying around in space, supposedly.
So they said that a comet had gone through our solar system and left a dusty trail, and every year in August, we have the Perseus meteor shower, I think it's called. And the Earth goes, we got that trail, and the Earth goes through that trail. And then all of those specks of dust come in and burn up. Okay?
Right.
But you have to remember, we're traveling 500,000 miles an hour, chasing the sun, never to return to where we were before. We're orbiting around, 186 million miles from season to season.
Well, do you believe that?
No, of course not.
Okay,
so the heliocentric model. So you'd have to believe somehow that trail is following all of these motions. So we go through it again the second week of August next year. Okay, right? So I think, and here's the other thing: if meteors, when we watch meteor showers, were things falling down to Earth. So here we are. Make it bigger. Here we are, and meteors are coming down, right? They're shooting down. Well, if I was down here in South America and a meteor went down for me, they would see it going up. It would come up from their horizon and shoot up into the sky. No one's ever seen a meteor go up because they'd be coming in from all different angles. Down for me, up for you. Down for you, up for me. Okay? Nobody has ever seen a meteor go up, right? Check out the meteor section on the app. And
we live in a pretty strange world, and I'll tell a story on myself, but it tells a lot about how ignorant we really are. I lived out in the desert in California, and one night we were sitting on the porch and we were watching. It was getting dark, and as it was getting dark, I saw this star come up. And something came up. I didn't know what it was, but you could see it was kind of refracted light. And then another one came up under it. And then another one. And then was one on each side as it came up. And I was looking at it and I thought, it looked like UFOs. And this was out in the desert in California. Well, it was Orion's belt. And the thing is, most people, and I was in my 30s, I didn't know what Orion's belt was. Most of us don't know anything about constellations and things like that, but and I hate to admit what an idiot I was. It looked so much like UFOs, and because it was 3 stars here and 2 out here, it looked like a formation. You know what I mean? And I called a radio station. I said, hey, has anybody reported seeing UFOs out here? This was out in Desert Hot Springs in California. So, it can be the world we live in is pretty unusual, really, when you get down to it. The stars in the sky, the sun.
Right. Well, the whole idea with stars in the sky, if you take the time and do the math, they make no sense even at the crazy sizes that they tell us, right? They tell us that Polaris is 46 times bigger than our sun, right? Okay. So our sun is one of those big yoga balls and we're a BB, right? We're a little marble next to it.
Right.
And so if the sun was a mile over your head at noon, it would fill your entire sky, right? You wouldn't be able to see anything up there but the sun because you're literally a BB, a fraction of a millimeter below the big yoga ball. So you look up the entire sky. Move that sun 93 million miles away where they tell us it is. It's now the size of a coin held at arm's length, right? Why did it get smaller? Because it got farther, right?
Right.
They tell us that the moon and the sun, they only look like they're the same size, but the sun's 400 times bigger than the moon, and coincidentally, 400 times farther, which makes it look the same size. Cool story, bro. Right? Cool story.
We've talked about that.
Yeah. So Polaris is 46. Let's say it's 48 times. We're going to give the globe a little favor. 48 times bigger than the sun. So if we first, we got the sun at 93 million miles away. It's the size of a coin. If I doubled that distance, it's a quarter of that size. If I doubled that distance, making it 4 times farther than its original distance, it's a 16th. Double that again, it's a 64th. It's now literally the size of a star. And that's 8 times. 8 times at 93 million miles is 1 light hour. Okay. Rounding down for the globe.
Right.
But a light hour away, our sun would look like a star. Well, let's make it 24 times farther than that. So you can't even see it because it's just going to get exponentially too small and too dim. So at a light day away, you could not see our sun. If you do the math, your eye is incapable of seeing anything that small. And then because you keep making it farther, it gets dimmer and dimmer and dimmer because of the inverse square law. Leaving that out of it, its angular size is too small physically for your eye to see. Not a theory. It's a fact. You could not see the sun at that small of a size because it's magnitudes upon magnitudes upon magnitudes too small. Like if I had a human hair and I held it right here, you might be able to see it. But if I moved it a mile away, you couldn't see it. Okay? Or 10 feet away. You couldn't see it. So the sun at a light day away is like that human hair at a mile away. You can't see it magnitudes over. Right? So now how do we compare that to Polaris? Well, make Polaris 48 light days away. Okay? 48 light days away. It's not even 2 light months. You could not see it. Round up to a light year. Ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. You couldn't see it. They tell us Polaris is 433 light years away, and you can see it with your naked eye. It stays in the sky. It never moves. It does that tiny little circle holding its spot while we're corkscrewing through space. Okay? It's absolutely retarded. I can say that word because it is.
Well, I'll say this, and I'll bet here you go. I'll ask Fitz, do you know where the North Star is? Can you look in the sky and find it?
It's always right above us.
I have no idea where it is.
I'll tell you how to find it. It's very easy. You can find the Big Dipper, right?
Yeah, I know the Big Dipper.
So you'll see the handle, then it comes down the pot, and then you take the last two from the bottom right-hand corner of the pot to the top and just extend that line, and it hits the North Star.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
It just extend it, and it's not the brightest star in the sky. People think, oh, North Star is the brightest star. No, it's fairly bright. It's a moderately lit star, but just follow it. It'll be there. And then like stand next to your house or next to a pole or whatever and say, okay, when I stand here, the North Star is right between that branch, between that whatever, you know? And then whenever you go, just stand there and look and go, oh yeah, there it is. At midnight, at 2 a.m., at 4 p.m., whenever you can see it, whenever there's not the light in the sky is down, it'll be right there, any season, anytime. But we're corkscrewing, traveling billions of miles, right? And it's gone. So it's there. It makes no sense. And here's the problem: this is too complicated for most people with their indoctrination. 99%. Yeah, where they're I don't want to think about that. You know, a guy in a lab coat told me so, and he wears a bow tie.
Vince and I have had a good conversation about this. The sun, whatever it is a supernatural thing. That it has been so bright and burning so long, and that whatever it is, and as you said, you look at it and it looks like the size of a quarter, but it makes all the plants on this planet, whatever shape this thing is, it's enormous. You know, it's gigantic. Have you ever driven across the United States?
Yes.
I mean, I've done it a bunch of times, back and forth. And man, when you see stuff like the Grand Canyon and the Rocky Mountain, you go, God, this is big. And you know, you can put our country in Russia 3 times. So this is a huge, huge something. You know, whatever it is, it's big.
So think about this. Think about this. We have the, you know, somehow nothing exploded, became everything. All the rocks turned into balls. All the gases, instead of doing what they always do, expand to fill space, they decided to collapse in on each other and make stars. Okay? Never anywhere ever has anyone had enough gas where it would collapse on itself. It just fills the available space. That's what gases do. They violently fill the available space. Okay? But somehow in space, they collapse upon each other and create nuclear furnaces. And there's so much that it collapses so hard. There's so much mass of gas that it creates gravity and holds entire solar systems together. Now, let me ask you a question. We got this magical gravity.
I mean, I know what you're saying. When you read this stuff, you go, how is it possible? The enormity of it is hard for any human.
That's because we're too small to fathom. This is what they want you to believe. They want you to give up, right? But think about this. There has to be a balance, right? The sun is holding out all the planets are holding out all the moons. We have these alignments and everything, and the sky is a perfect clock. You know, watches, like Swiss watches, the best watch in the world is set to the sky clock. The sky clock is the only way to tell time. Okay. So it's this perfect timepiece, but it's supposedly held together by gravity. What if you change the size of one of the planets or the sun or the diameter of the earth? Everything changes. But the sun is burning helium and hydrogen at a rate, and I'm going to get the number wrong, but it's something like 640 billion tons a day or an hour or something like that.
A second.
Yeah. But it's a ridiculous number that your mind can't fathom. And it's been doing that for billions of years, and nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. No gravitational pulls have changed. Nothing has changed. This is idiocracy at its best. You know, like when you understand the heliocentric model, if you believe it, you are a complete and total moron, right? The problem is people don't understand it. They're just told. They're like, if I memorize that Mars is farther than Earth and Venus is inside of Earth and the moon goes around the Earth and the Earth goes around the sun, if I can memorize that, I can graduate and I can have a piece of paper that no one will ever look at to give me a job. Okay. It's
what about the tides in the moon?
the tide.
What about the moon and the tides?
Yeah. So when we have a full
we were talking about that, and they said we ought to ask you. So
right.
Yeah, Grandma wanted to ask about that.
I was going to show you this real quick. This is be filming the sun. The sun was up high, it's going down, 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 and then it stopped. It's just sat there. Okay. It just sat there, right? It sat there, and instead of going down, it just disappeared into the soup of the atmosphere. Okay. It's taking its light with it. It's getting far enough away where the clear sky, perfectly clear sky, is blocking the light, and it just goes away. And I was accused that I photoshopped this. I live streamed it. Okay. I filmed it 7 different times. All of this can be found on the app, right? It's just showing you how when the sun gets down near the apparent horizon, it stops going down because it's just going away. Perspective to a point will bring everything to that point, and then it won't go any lower, okay? Because it's at your eye level. Once it reaches your eye level, it'll never go lower. It just goes away. So what was your question we're going to? Tides.
The tides and, and the moon. The moon's connection.
They tell us that the tides are caused by the moon, right? We have a full moon. We have really big high tides. Why aren't there really big high tides when there's a new moon? Because if you think about it, right? If my head is the earth and I got the moon is over here and the sun is over here, this is a full moon. The full moon is over here, right? So the moon's gravity is pulling the tide. But when the moon is over here, it's a new moon. It's a new moon that you can't see it because the back is lit up, supposedly. How come the sun's gravity and the moon's gravity doesn't make a bigger tide? They're both there. Why is it that only a full moon creates those bigger tides? They're still there. What difference does it make if it's lit up or not in the gravitational model? Right? They tell us that the moon, if my head was the moon, it's pulling the water away from the earth. Well, but there's a low tide 6 hours over here, and then 12 hours over here, there's another high tide. How does that work? Neil deGrasse Tyson himself said, the moon is pulling the water away from the earth, but because this water is farther and blocked by the earth, the moon is pulling the earth away from the water. This is what they're telling people. And it's so fucking bizarre that people believe it. They're like, nobody can make up something that's stupid. Okay. And then it gets worse. And the earth spins inside of those bulges, creating high tides and low tides every 6 hours. Okay. When the truth is in the north, there's massive tides, like 30-foot tides. On the equator, there's no tides in some areas. There's a thing called tidal nodes, and you have these tidal nodes, and the high tide and low tides go around the nodes. They're all over the place. There's nothing to do with the moon. Okay. However, a full moon does cause higher tides in some situations. And I think it's all electrical. The sun and the moon are the anode and the cathode of the Earth battery system. The salt water carries the currents. That's why there's no tides in fresh water. There's no current. It's all electric. This entire realm is electric.
You know, I read a book called Who Built the Moon? I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
I've heard of it.
But,
I have.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's pretty interesting that, he and I have talked about that. It's like some of the buildings on the earth. Have you ever seen any of the, like the Indian temples where they cut into the granite mountain and they cut the temple right out of the mountain, right out of the granite? And somebody with a much, much higher technology about stonework has been here. I would say, I don't know who they are or where they're from, but if you look at those places around the world, there are temples in India where they cut them right into the side of a granite mountain, and the insides, they look like glass. We couldn't do it.
Well, there's a couple of possibilities on that, but have you looked into the giant trees?
Yeah, I've looked at those.
Have you looked into the giant trees of our realm, like trees that have a trunk diameter measured in miles?
No, I haven't. Where are they?
So here on the app, scroll down to on the web button page to the giant trees section. Watch some of that. Watch the biogeology section. Watch lost stories, lost history, the Tataria stuff. You'll start seeing some incredible stuff. Now, here's one theory. This is just a theory, needs other proof. But I think that some of these giant trees, imagine you had a piece of property, and on that property was a log that was hundreds of feet wide by hundreds of feet high, solid wood. Okay. Now, would you just get rid of that log, or would you carve a house out of it? Think of that, a house with no nails, no, you just carve it out of the wood. And then there was some event. Some people call it the X event or whatever, plasma event. I don't know. But there was something that melted things and turned things into stone. So what if they carved those buildings out of wood, and then they turned into stone?
Let me ask you, do you think there were really dinosaurs here?
Absolutely not. The guy, a royal guy in the 1800s, wrote a paper theorizing the story of dinosaurs. Meanwhile, none of our history, with all of the old construction all the way back to the pyramids, no one had ever mentioned finding a dinosaur, right? He published a paper, and then a year later to the day, he and his team discovered the first dinosaur.
What do you think about the pyramids? What I'd be interested in what do you think about the pyramids?
I used to be very impressed with the pyramids. I still am, but I think that the pyramids are minuscule compared to some of the other great wonders of this world, some of the other buildings and stuff that's going on, and stuff that's hidden, stuff that's underground. It's all part of an advanced people from here, maybe from outer lands. I don't know. Maybe the people that built it were like, screw this crap, I'm out of here. And they all moved outwards. They all migrated outwards. Okay.
Well, have you ever seen some of the underground cities that they found in Turkey and stuff?
Finding them
like 17 stories down, and they hold 30,000 people.
Yeah.
There's so much history.
That's just the beginning. Just the beginning. Go here. Do you watch?
I will. Where is that page?
So on the app, if you go to the web button, the one that looks like a spider web.
Okay. That's
the more resources page. All right. And then there's also the homeschool page. And if you go to the homeschool page, lots of stuff there. But this guy, My Lunch Break, he just takes old buildings and looks into the history of them. And every story is absolutely so ridiculous. And he breaks it down like these 15-minute videos. They're fantastic. And then another one of my favorites on here is John Levy, right here. Okay. Make sure you catch all of his videos. He puts out a new video every Sunday. And they're all here. Now, do any of these guys get everything right? A lot of them aren't even making any claims. They're just like, look at this. How do you explain this? They're asking questions. Right. So check out that stuff, and that'll keep you busy.
But I'll tell you what, here's something we can all agree on. Whatever shape it is, whatever it is, this is supernatural. You know, the sun is a supernatural being. Without the sun, there couldn't be any intelligence on Earth. There couldn't be any growth. So does the sun have an intelligence? You know, and what are these stars? Whatever the sun is, it's supernatural. As a gardener, right, you know, watching my stuff grow, you know, it's whatever it is. I mean, it's a giant Earth, and it makes everything on it grow. God said, I am the light. Who knows what these things are?
So I like to think that the lights in the sky are perfection. They're in the angelic realm. Okay. That's where all of our souls live. And this is me talking. I'm not making any solid claims. This is how I view the world, that all of those stars, those are the angelic home of our soul, right? Stars don't move. You know why? Because they're perfect. They've reached godly perfection. No need to move. They just sit there and look pretty. Okay. And then we incarnate here on Earth, bringing our soul, amnesia, the whole thing, to experience this world and have free will. And in this realm, we have free will. There's other realms that are different. I don't know. I'm not there right now. And I don't remember, because I'm in this realm experiencing this world for what it is. And it's such an amazing journey. that, you know, the people that are just sitting there watching Netflix and believing they live on a spinning ball, they're literally wasting their lives. They're wasting their lives. You know, the word boredom shouldn't even be a word. No flat earther is ever bored. There's too much to learn. Okay. The word boredom, I'm starting to get to the point where I don't even understand the concept of the word boredom. Right? When's the last time you guys were bored? Yeah.
There's too much. There's so much we don't know. There's so much more that we don't know than we do. But as I said, we live in a supernatural world. Your brain is supernatural. Your body. Do you know we have 60,000 miles of blood vessels inside of each human being? It's a supernatural. You know, I don't know where we came from or who God is, but something created this. Do you know what? It just didn't all happen.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this realm is way beyond what we're capable of putting into words. I always say, if somebody punched you really hard in the chest, so it's a nice solid punch, it should kill you. Technically, it should kill you. Our bodies, like how do we survive a punch? Okay. How does all of this work? No. How does it all?
Like I said, Fitz and I are from the East Coast.
So is Dave. He's up in Connecticut.
I'm in Connecticut.
Are you from Connecticut?
Yeah.
Then you know what I'm talking about. Hey, the East Coast was different, you know?
Yeah. No, I'm just saying that
your mind and your manners.
Your thoughts create your reality. And, you know, everything everyone has in their lives is because of the way that they think. They don't want to admit it. They like pointing and blaming and complaining. But your thoughts create your reality. And once you understand how this realm works and you get in alignment with it, you know, and have the good connection or relationship with the creator, things are this. It's a magical place, supernatural.
Way beyond supernatural. Like Fitz and I have talked about this. The sun is supernatural. Whatever it is, however big it is, it's supernatural. Been there every day. It's been more reliable than I have, you know, in my life. You know what I mean? I can count on the sun.
Yep.
Dave, while you're in the videos, can you tell me if you have this guy's video? I'm going to show you a picture. I'm just going to put this up on the screen. I'm sure you're going to know this guy.
Dave Murphy.
Oh, okay, that's his name. Another Dave. Yes, I watched this interview a long time ago. I can never remember his name, but if that's you
pulled that up from today's featured video, right?
Oh, that must have been. I found it. Somebody posted it somewhere, and they must have got it off of there.
That clip is in today's featured video. That's Dave Murphy, and he did a just search Dave Murphy or allegedly Dave, and then late night with, and I forget the guy's name, but if you search Dave Murphy or allegedly Dave, late night with, that interview should come up. That was a great interview that he did.
Oh, one of my favorites, and I wanted to tell Teddy about that one, but I couldn't think of his name, and it just happened to pop up on my feed. I guess because somebody else saw it on there.
Yeah.
Beautiful. The other question I had for you is the Bitcoin piece.
Yes.
I know you. How many you're offering? 2 Bitcoins for anyone that can prove?
3 Bitcoins.
3. Whoa.
Yes.
What are they worth anyway?
I haven't looked in a while. Like 30,000 a piece.
Okay.
Maybe 23. I don't know. I don't watch.
And have you had anybody try to take you up
just
on
lame excuses? What about circumnavigation? You know, I can go east out of New York and end up right back in New York. Explain that on a flat Earth. I'm like, really? Yeah, are you that stupid? But and a few globers have tried. They're like, you know, looking at these stars and you take an angle measurement, you know, and it's different from here, and that only works on a globe. Not true. And the other thing is looking at the lights in the sky that are provably not what they tell us they are, the sizes, as we went over earlier, doesn't prove anything, right? If we lived on a physical ball, there would be physical measurements that we could take. Okay. There would be. If we lived on a ball, 24,901 miles around, like they tell us, if you were standing at the edge of a perfectly calm ocean, perfectly calm, and the air quality was what I call 9/11 clear, clearest, zero humidity, zero pollution, the clearest day ever, and there's not a ripple on the water. If you're standing there 6 feet tall, you should not be able to see the surface of that water beyond 3 miles because it's a 6-foot drop. So that is your physical horizon on the absolute best conditions possible. Now, if there was waves on the water or a little fog rolling, that horizon cannot get farther away. It can only get closer. Okay. And if you sit down, it'll get even closer, 1.2 miles away from a foot off the ground. Okay. So you can't see farther than, but it's possible you can't see that far because of other atmospheric physical conditions. But on a perfectly smooth ball, there's a limit that cannot be increased. It has to be that amount. But we can see things far beyond that. Okay. We can see, and the higher up you are, people go, well, if I go up higher, I can see over the ball. It's the same thing on a flat earth. A snake on the floor at the Home Depot next to you, while you're standing there, who can see farther? You can. You want to see farther? Stand up. Sit down, look as far as you can see, then stand up. And all those things that are compressed into the floor, all of a sudden you'll be able to see them. Okay? Go to next time you're at a big Home Depot. We have a perfectly smooth floor. Lay down. Lay down on the floor. Do it. Forget what other people think. Get your eyes as low as the floor, right? and see how many things you can identify across the store. Then stand up, and all of a sudden you can see them, right? Yeah. But so using the curve calculator, and looking at at things. Here's a view of these mountains are over 700 miles away. 700. The tops of these mountains should be over 40 miles below the curve. 40 miles. You don't,
and they should be slanted.
Well, the people say, well, it's just such a little thing, you can't really tell. It doesn't matter. They should be 40 miles below a physical curve. No curve, no ball.
Yep. And if you're looking at it from this view, you shouldn't be able to see that way. You should be, well, that's another whole part. But back to the Bitcoin for a second. We want to add $5,000 to that if you'll take it. So you could say you're offering 3 Bitcoins plus $5,000. We don't have a large budget, but we wanted to.
That's the point. What's the point? Right?
Yeah.
What's the point? What do you think about this? This is an airplane flying in front of the moon. Now, what's wrong with this? If the moon is being lit by the sun, how come the airplane's not lit by the sun? It seems to be that the light is coming from the moon, lighting up the far side of the airplane.
Hey, I'll say this. It's just because as we've been waiting for this, I've been thinking about it. I remember being a kid one night, and we were going to go sleigh riding. I grew up in Baltimore, and it had snowed, and it was a full moon, and you could see everything so well. I'll never forget it. You know what I mean? And when you're a little kid, you're used to going out in the dark and you can't see, but because of the moon, you could see everything across the sun, across the snow. It lit the snow up. You know, pretty strange. You know, like we said, we live in a supernatural world. Who knows what it all is, or where did all the matter that the earth is made of come from? No matter what shape it is, you know, right. Where did it all come from?
Right.
You know, there's one little thing I've been thinking about, because as we've been getting ready for this and thinking, you know, you think about all these things and you think about the Big Bang Theory. Well, these stars, if there really are anything that gigantic, what happens if one of them kind of blew? Do you know what I mean? And blew pieces. Maybe that's what the Big Bang is. Because a lot of times there's some truth behind, do you know what I mean, old sayings and stuff. Most of it's been hidden from us. 99.9% of our real history is hidden.
No, Dave, I want to respect your time. I want to make sure you don't have an 8 o'clock to jump to or anything.
We're good for a little bit. Sure. So okay. I'm looking here at a cement ball. I'm very close to it. So I don't have to work the inverse square law to figure out how dim it is, because as it goes in the distance, it'll be dimmer. The sun is shining down on it. How come it doesn't reflect like the moon does? The moon casts a shadow a quarter of a million miles away. It could cast my shadow on the ground. I could read by it. Where's the light that's bouncing off of this arguably shinier rock than the dusty, dirty moon? Well, it's
I agree.
daytime. It's daytime, and your eyes aren't adjusting. People just make up excuses. It's so fun, not fun, to be a Glober because you can just say anything, and all of your buddies will back you up on it. Okay, flat earthers, we make a claim. Other flat earthers like, wait a minute, did you think about this? And we're all analyzing each other, and we agree. And if we disagree, we have discussions. Globers, they agree on everything, everything. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's comical watching DeGrasse Tyson and your buddy the Lion guy. It was funny because we were talking about him on
Bill Nye
the other day, and then Teddy came up and had the same nickname for him as you do, Dave.
What, the Lion Science guy?
Bill Nye, the Lion guy with the bow tie.
Well, they've been paid to lie to us, really. That's their job, is to bullshit us and to obscure who we are, because I think whatever this is, it was engineered for life billions of years ago by people, but there have been people our bodies didn't develop like this.
What about that?
Huh?
The creator created us and put us here in this realm. You with me on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So the story of an amoeba turned into a frog that turned into a that turned into a monkey, turned into a human, and then we found fire, and then we slowly made computer chips. Okay.
Well, I agree. They say
God created us
to blue whales.
God created us. God created us and put us here. Now he's going to populate the earth. Did he put a lot of people here? Like, what did he do? And did he just throw us in caves? Like, hey, figure it out. Wait till someone makes a logging saw, so you can build a house. Or did he put down some kingdoms? Did he put down some infrastructure? Okay. Did the creator make huge infrastructure buildings for us? I don't know, man.
Who knows? Like I said, those buildings. Do you know what I'm talking about? The underground churches in Ethiopia?
Oh, there's more than that, man. Watch those sections I told you.
You know what I'm talking about? Where they dig straight down into the granite and cut church it. We couldn't do that now. Somebody else has been here doing stuff for long before us.
Go check out the biogeology section on the app and the giant trees. Sit back, watch some of those videos, take some notes, subscribe to those channels. Believe nothing, verify everything. Because now, like when I walk in the woods, like the rocks that I walked by my entire life, I look at them now and go, that is literally the branch of a tree, of a giant cedar tree.
I've seen a lot of that stuff where it looks like where some of these gigantic rock formations were trees. I know what
giant,
you're talking
about. Bigger than we're even imagining. And the thing is, they found it where literally the rock is transitioning back into the wood. It's like halfway transition. Like, so argue, and then people that freak out about bricks don't melt, rocks, things don't turn to rock. John Levy in his last video showed these bricks transitioning back into rock, and you could argue, well, no, it just looks like it's a brick. The imprint was still on the brick. They have the name carved in the side of a brick. Right. The imprint was still there.
Go to the petrified forest. Have you ever been there?
It's still there.
In Arizona?
Yes.
Huh?
I know all about it.
All of the trees have all turned into stone, Hey, this is a supernatural place that 99.9% of what goes on is unexplainable. Our lives are unexplainable. This is one. There's a great little thing, and it's a camera that is inserted in a woman. And right at the point where the sperm that hits the egg hits it, there's a burst of light.
Big bang, if you will.
Huh?
Big bang, if you will.
Well,
so think about this. Think about this.
God, what did God say? I am the light.
So there's a spark of life. Okay,
yes, a spark of life.
Right. So the Jesuit priest made up the Big Bang Theory, and if you think about it, it's an analogy for the woman's pregnancy. First, there's a Big Bang. There's a spark of life, right? And then you look like a little amoeba, and you look like a little monkey, right? And then you turn into a human, and then the waters break, and you come out, And it's literally the story of how the universe was made. It's the
Rick,
same thing.
You're right. And the fact, and this is something, the older you get, the more you appreciate that women's bodies make other human beings. Because being a human being is a really incredible, this is an incredible thing to be. To have a brain and hands and eyes.
Wait a minute, are you saying men can't have babies? That's not politically correct, right?
Well, you know what?
Don't you oppress me?
Huh? Well, I'll tell you what. When a man has a baby, I don't want to see it.
Right. And the fact that the women's reproductive cycle are tied to the moon, right? The moon is the reproductive cycle of women. Well, the same. And so saying that the moon is the piece of the earth, you know, there was a planet crashed into our earth, carving out a moon, and then it goes into this perfect orbit and matches up with women's reproductive cycles. Ridiculous, stupid, idiotic.
Well, I agree, but somehow the moon's cycle and women's cycle is the same amount of time. I mean, I read about that.
I think that the moon has a role in delivering and removing of souls into this part of the realm, into the earth school, the earth school. Very interesting.
You know, nothing would surprise me anymore. Let's be honest, we live in a time where you can't believe your eyes and ears. You know, you really can't believe your eyes and ears anymore, because anything they can make anything look like anything. So, and talk about the lying, you know what I mean? The Federal Reserve, every war we've ever had. I was old enough to go to Vietnam. I didn't go, but I'm 70. They sell us war like they're selling cake. Do you know what I mean? And they trick young men into going off.
That's the whole thing. They want to take all the strong men and send them to war to either die or be so heavily jabbed with all the jabs you have to take that they're trying to destroy, you know, men. And they're doing.
I agree.
Now, you know, Alex Jones was right. They're turning the frogs gay with Astrazine. He's screaming that a decade ago, and now it's public knowledge, right? So people need to wake up, and we need to stop complying, right? Everyone needs to stop. That's it.
100%.
Hand. So, anything else? I'm losing.
Well, hey, man, I've really enjoyed talking to you. I'm going to go to your site and look into that stuff, you know, because most this stuff is so unexplained on this earth, you know, like those buildings and stuff over in India and all these. And, you know, here in America, we don't get to see much of that. You know, I've been out to Colorado and looked at the cave dwellers and things like that. But there's like the pyramids. Real quick, do you know that they did a satellite thing from the very tip top of the pyramid down to what would be the direct center, and that it was within a half an inch of perfection, a 14-acre building made out of you know, you couldn't build a house to a half an inch of perfection. So like I was saying, somebody way ahead of us has been here doing things for a long time that they don't want us to know about.
That's right. They want us to think we're at the pinnacle. We're not.
Oh,
absolutely. I really want to get into the circumnavigation next time, but yeah, I'll definitely schedule some more time with you, Dave.
I'll do a circumnavigation.
Really enjoyed talking to you.
Circumnavigation is really easy. Okay. And so here's a map. I got a magnet here. Just pay attention. I got a compass, and the compass needle is pointing towards the magnet. So I'm trying to push this compass west. And because the needle keeps pointing towards the north, west is 90 degrees to it. So west is a circle. And it brings you right back to where you were going from. Same thing for east. Look at the needles pointing towards the north. East is here, and east has to keep turning, right? So east will take you right back to where you went from. Now, if I wanted to dead reckon west, there's west right there, right? So west is following that stick. And if I follow the stick and ignore the compass, I'm heading south. I'm no longer heading west. Here's north, there's south. North, south. Okay, right? So circumnavigation has been done billions of times. North to the east, west in a circle, east but nobody has ever gone south and popped up on the other side of the earth. No one has ever gone from Santiago to Australia, right? So I'm going north, 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 north. And as soon as I pass the north, the compass does a 180. And now I'm heading south. Every straight line is south. Every straight line is south. Okay. Billions of people have circumnavigated east and west. 0 have done it south. And you'll say, Colin O'Brady, he did it, right? And the sailboat race, they did it, but they're actually circumnavigating east and west. But like my compass, south, 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 and south. Okay. Circles. Right. But I'm trying to find the map of Colin O'Brady. Let me see where that is.
Yeah, Teddy and I were talking about that the other day, and I said that you could explain it better than anybody. So I wanted you to just throw that out there.
Well, the first one guy said he was going to do it for the world record, and it was called Spider Track, so you could actually track them. We're like, okay, let's track them. And he went from the north to like here, and then over here, and then over here, and then to Santiago, and then the South Pole Station. And then they said, oh, the weather is too bad. So they went back up through Brazil, and they went up this way. We're like, well, they didn't do it. They got the world record for southern circumnavigation, when in reality, he just went here, bam, 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 bam. That's not circumnavigation. Okay. No one has ever gone here and ended up here, because that's not how the world works. But if it was a globe, boom. If it was a globe, you just go right over Santiago, Australia, right? No one's ever done that. So
no one ever will.
Right. And let me just pull up the map for a second. And so people say, well, Colin O'Brady, he did it, pull a 500-pound sled. I think, I like to say that people are fooled, and not liars, but I'm going to just go out on it and say he's just a liar. So the fuck is Mike Gleason map? Here it is. All right. So he literally
hanging in my bar.
Literally went, if he did it at all, he went from here over to here and then over to here. And that's it. He just went this little skirt. He didn't go from here over to here. Nobody does that. Nobody does that. It's crazy.
Yep, and that's the original map. And that's the one that makes the most sense.
Yeah. And if you look at the continent, they have all these dome A, dome B, dome C. Why are they calling it domes? Right. And then here are the alleged bases. I know that this one is real. I don't know about these other ones. I think this one or this one is confirmed. Now, maybe these are bases, but what's wrong? Base there, base there. These are just bases along the shoreline of our world. That's it. How come there's no bases over here? Maybe there's no ice over here. Who knows? Mm-hmm. Kiribatis out here, I think, and it goes. It's a very important trade route. That little sandbar. We got to stop there and pick up some sand. Right?
Yep.
On the app.
It's sad that we live in a world that we are lied to as much as we are. Because we're good people. We're looking for the truth.
Circumnavigation right there. That button will bring you to this page, and all of these videos are being hidden from you on your Google searches. You search for any of these videos, watch all of these videos, then go to your YouTube history and search for them, and none of them will be in your history.
No kidding.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I don't do any searches on YouTube anymore. I just go right to your app.
Well, it's pointless to do the searches. And the new profile section is coming along, which is final testing this week, maybe next week. Who the hell knows? But it's going to be a full Facebook thing. You got your friends. You can search for other people, stuff on your wall, videos, all sorts of stuff. And then you'll also be able to search for people like, let's say, hey, I need somebody that knows how to build a house builder, whatever, construction, or I need a chef or somebody, and people will have in their profiles what they're good at. And then you can find other alike, awake, aware people to connect with. So it's going to be the new LinkedIn and dating site for Blue Dots only.
Awesome. When is that coming out?
I got a whole bunch of people testing it right now. Tomorrow I'm supposed to, they keep saying that we should have all the final bugs worked out. I think I need another week, but then it'll come out and it'll be great. And just it's getting a little crazy with the number of people.
Yeah, I've checked out the blue bubbles. They're everywhere.
Blue dots. And we're almost at 114,000. They'll hit that tomorrow. And it's people say flat earth is dying. Absolutely not. Google algorithms dying. Google's dying, but flat earth is not dying. Flat earth is becoming more popular than anything ever will be. Right?
Yeah, because like you always say, once you get into it, you don't leave, because
right.
I went into the same way you did. I was like, I can't believe this shit. And then I got hooked watching your videos.
Yeah. So, and I just say, if everyone, now that we're hitting critical numbers, if everybody shared the app or their favorite video or whatever, or just took the time to try to wake one person up a week, we'd be done this year. Okay. The number, it would grow so fast, it would be insane. It'd be insane. It'd be crazy.
Yep.
And on the app, you can go in and you can join like groups, and in the groups you can chat with people. You can check out their profile. Like if I go here and I say, hey, let me check out this person's profile, I can find out information about them. I could send them a message. I could do it, do all sorts of stuff, and it's a great, ultimate networking tool. I could also do video phone calls on here. Did you know that?
Yeah, I remember you called somebody from the show one time.
Yeah. So super fun stuff.
I love it.
And everything can be found flatearthdave.com. Flatearthdave.com. It's the only thing you need to remember. And my YouTube channel for all videos, DIRH, can be found at flatearthdave.com. What?
If somebody can't get the app for whatever reason, do you have everything on flatearthdave.com that you would get on the app?
Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, but there is plenty on flatearthdave.com. Go down to the crash course. I'll go down to the must-see videos. There's all of the featured videos are there. So there's tons of stuff. So you don't need to get the app, but when you're walking around,
I have the app and love it, but I know people don't know how to get an app.
When you're sitting in the park and you end up talking about flat earth, you want something that you can pull up those images, right? You pull up images and videos, and someone's like, well, how does circumnavigation work? And you go, well, that's really easy. And you hit the question mark, then you go to circumnavigation, and then you say, I want to share that, and you pop that up, and then you share it, you send it right to them. Now they got it. They would never, ever, ever be able to find that, right? And the other thing you could do is the images search. I just added a search feature. Someone say, oh yeah, India just landed on the moon. So you go here and let's just type in India. And bam, there we have India. Hold on. We have some India moon landing footage, right? Right?
Is there anything out there on that? Is that really what they put out?
Well, they put it out. I haven't
seen anything on it.
And intend it to be real, but that's the only evidence they gave us of it being real, And then the Globers are going, you stupid flat earthers think that was real footage? Of course it was just a simulation. And our question is, what if it crashed? Do you have a simulation for that? And but here's the mind trick. They show you this, right? They show you this, right? And hold on a second. Let me go here. They show you that, which is so bad, right? It's so bad. And then
who's taking the video?
Argument. But they land on the south part of the moon. There's nobody there. But they
We dropped a phone with a stick on it before we hit the ground.
Right.
You know, I mean, it
but
really is kind of funny when you look at it.
So watch that. Then the Globers say flat earthers are stupid for thinking it's real. Then they show you this, which is actual footage of a rover, you know, probably in Arizona or somewhere. And then your mind says, oh, this is real compared to the Atari graphic from 1970 that they showed us. Your mind says, okay, that was fake. This is real. Both of these are fake. This is a real faked model. This is a briefcase. Look at this thing. It's just a briefcase. Okay.
Yep.
So stupid.
Yeah. It's funny after you learn about it. It just gets funnier and funnier as you watch more of it.
Gotta laugh. You gotta laugh. But getting back on the app, the search feature. If I search for, let's say, moon, someone asked about the rover, so I just type in rover. Boom. There's 2 images of the rover. Okay. And I'm adding tons of stuff. So everything you want, you know, if you look for, someone says, what do you mean the horizon's flat? Just type in horizon. Bam. And there are all the horizon images. And again, you know, so you pull up this one and you say, all right, I'm going to send it to you. Bam. Send it to them. That way, everything's at your fingertips. You got it fast. While you have someone's attention, you can give them the information. So that's all I got to say about that.
That's everything you said.
Well, hey, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to, you know, there's so many unexplained things on this, whatever it is. And it's supernatural. Our existence is supernatural.
Yep.
So just start from there, you know?
All right, guys. Thanks for having me. Yeah. Enjoy and keep spreading the good word. Okay.
Hey, really enjoyed it, man.
Do not
appreciate it.
Not comply.
I'll never. Didn't the first time, won't this time. Take it easy. Great talking to you, Dave.
Bye.
Adios, my friend.
Bye.